what I am seeking, that I am seeking something in my life. And secondly, that what I am seeking is to be discovered as my own self. Now this is a very big discovery in life. That I am seeking freedom, unconditional freedom, or unconditional happiness is what I am seeking. And it's not to be found out anywhere there. And I'm still seeking, that means it is my own nature. If it is my own nature, then how come I don't experience that something is separating me? That's for ignorance. So far I thought that what I am seeking is separated from me in time and place. And so I was working hard to try to erase the distance of time and place where the desire was in. Now realize that what separates me is ignorance. You know the story of the 10th man? What separates the 10th man from what he's seeking is ignorance. Not realizing that what I am seeking is my own self. If this insight happens, then we will call that maturity of the mind. That is called Viditatmananda, or will we desire to know. This desire to do in course of time gets transformed into the desire to know. When the mind is under the influence of rajas, there is a desire to do. But when by performing these actions with the right attitude, slowly the rajas gets transformed to sattva. When the mind becomes sattvic, becomes contemplative, then there arises now a desire for knowledge. Desire remains, but gets transformed. Now realize that I always desired something, but what I really desire is the knowledge to know myself. Atmecha vivasiyatam, says Shankaracharya in a composition called Sadhana Panchakam, that when we live a life of karma yoga, then the mind, as it becomes sattvic, then desire for knowledge arises in me. If that is so, then we should do what is compatible to fulfilling a given desire. If you're hungry, then you go to, the kitchen where the food is. Thirsty, where you can get water. And so when there is a desire for knowledge, I should go where my desire will be satisfied. Where should I go? Upanishad says, Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva vigachet. To fulfill this desire for knowledge, one must necessarily go to a teacher, go to a guru. Sounds, this Upanishad or Vedanta seems to perpetuate Gurudom. They themselves insist, Guru insists that you should go to a Guru. Kya baat hai? What is that? The subject matter being what it is, if what I am searching for is something objective, something other than myself, then also I need Guru, of course, for any material physical sciences also. But it is conceivable that if I strive hard enough, maybe I can myself gain that knowledge of something that is different from me. But as far as Atma is concerned, I cannot objectify myself. Atma cannot become the object of knowledge, just as the flower is. Here, the pursuit is to know the very knower. how do I know myself? How do I know the self? So this is where I need a guru. I'll tell you why. You must have seen the standard picture of Bhagavad Gītā, which is popularized by Gita Press Gorakhpur, and the chariot and Lord Krishna holding the reins in his left hand and looking back at Arjuna with this Chin Mudra, Jnana Mudra, showing him. It must be tough to do, but that's what he does. The reason why we need Guru is because Atma cannot be objective, meaning the self is not the object of knowledge by conventional means of knowledge. We are given these 5 organs of perception, which are competent to reveal the nature of the objects of the world. And with the perception, there is other means like inference, etc. So, when it comes to knowing things other than myself, I have been given the organs of perception, and now scientists have discovered many extensions of this. Like this is Upanetra, meaning an extension of the ear, additional ear, eyes. So, a lot of instruments are there now, but ultimately it is searching for something outside of myself. Here now, searching of my own self. And therefore, this self, this Atma cannot become object of sense organs, object of perception. You understand? I cannot objectify like I can objectify a flower. As a matter of fact, Atma or I is always known to me, by the way. It is not... Let me ask you this question. Are you there? Are you sitting there? Yes, Swami. How do you know? Are you there? Yes. How do you know? How do you know that you are there? If there was pitch darkness and I ask you, hey, are you there? Yes, I am there. Swami, let me verify whether I am there or not. Should I need to verify in some ways that I exist? Do I need to? Let me see, Swami. Let me think. Do I need to think in order to confirm that I am? No? No, that answer is right. Why is it so? How do you know that you are? I can see myself, Swami. Do you need to see? Because I am, in Vedantic language, the I am is self-evident. It reveals itself. That I am is always known to me. I don't need to make an effort to recognize that I am. I don't need to see or hear or taste or touch to know that I am. I can see and hear only when I am to begin with. Meaning that I am is self-evident. So then what is this Upanishad? When you say Upanishad is pramanam, it's not pramanam for revealing Atma. Then it is pramanam for what? That's a problem. That I am is self-evident. Therefore, there are all kinds of misconceptions about I. I am a limited self. I was born, I'm mortal, I'm ignorant, I'm limited, I'm imperfect, I'm insignificant, I'm so and so. All these notions about myself are not reality about the self. Then what, Swamiji? that I am limited is not the reality about myself. I am limitless is the reality of myself. Meaning that the self that is limitless is perceived as a limited being. I know this morning's class is going to be a little, but still I thought we had to conclude with that, you see. The hard Vedanta. That whereas the I or the self is always known because it is self-revealing, self-evident, as far as this flower is concerned, I must bring my eyes into operation to know the existence of flower. If my eyes are closed, then I cannot know the color of the flower. Thus, to know the objects or things other than myself, it is necessary that I must bring into operation my organs of perception, my mind, etc. Then only I can know. But as far as determining that I am, I don't need to see, hear, I don't need to do anything, because that I am is a self-evident fact. Then what is the Vedanta teaching? So yes, you say that Vedanta is for the self-knowledge, but I already know that I am. Even Vedanta does not need to say or teach us that you are. What does Vedanta teach? Very famous statement. What does Vedanta say? You are? You heard it at least 1,000 times. You are Brahman, you are limitless. Vedanta or Upanishad teaches us that you are whole, you are complete, you are limitless. You are beautiful. You are adorable. It's true. And my own perception of myself is quite contrary to that, unfortunately. I don't think I'm adorable. I don't think I'm beautiful. I don't think I'm complete. I don't think I'm whole. I don't think I'm all right. Meaning that my conclusion about myself, that I am limited, is quite contrary to what the scriptures say. Hey, you are whole and you are complete. That is what they say. And what my mind says is that I'm incomplete, I'm limited, I'm lacking, I'm wanting. This contradiction exists in our life. That I take myself to be contrary to what I am. I have no doubt that I am. There is not a question. But my conclusion is, I am limited, I am lacking, I am wanting. And unfortunately, I cannot accept a lacking and wanting self. On one hand, I brand myself as a limited, lacking, wanting entity. On the other hand, I cannot be comfortable with a lacking or wanting self. Meaning that I can never be comfortable with myself. This we have been saying in the last 2 days. That my main problem is that I am not comfortable with myself, I am not happy with myself, I am not satisfied with myself. In fact, I don't respect myself. I don't have a great self-esteem. I lack in self-esteem because I find that I am a limited being, a wanting being. So everybody lacks self-esteem in one degree or the other. When you go beyond a certain point, then say you don't have self-esteem. But everybody is a problem. But I find myself lacking, wanting. I find that I am not able to often get what I want. I find often that I cannot get rid of what I don't want. So, a lot of helplessness is because I am limited. I mean, how long can I even lift this little object, for some time, then ultimately this also I have to put down. My strength is limited. Swamiji, this is what you said yesterday. Did I say that? My memory is limited. In every way, I find myself a limited being. And therefore, I'm not happy with myself. I want to see myself as limitless. Swamiji, I never thought of it. You don't have to think. You are born with this desire. You want to see yourself as free and limitless. You love freedom. You don't love bondage. You don't love dependence. You don't love being controlled. Even a little child also doesn't want to be controlled, I try to hold his hand, he wants to escape. I hold him in my hand, he wants to wriggle out. Love for freedom is inherent. On one hand I love freedom, on the other hand I find that I'm not free. These days I cannot even speak what I want to speak because there can be problems. I cannot write what I want to write. I cannot eat what I want to eat. Swamiji, what you like is, I was told many years ago, Swamiji, what you like is no good for you. Thank you. So always restrained. Swamiji, at your age now, it's not good, that you eat this thing and you do this thing and you don't do that. Always reminded, at your age. And I'm struggling always to become free from that sense of limitedness. Vedanta teaches that, hey, you are not limited. You are limitless. What do you mean? You mean I have limitless memory? No, that is not. So my definition of my limitless, that I must have limitless memory, I must have limitless knowledge, must have limitless power, that is not the definition of limitless by Vedanta. That limitless nobody can have, except Bhagavan. Because what I call I is this body, and then I want, at the level of body, I want to be the strongest in the world. And I take the mind to be myself, and then I want to be all-knowing. Poor mind is limited, regardless of how much I try. And that's what we try constantly. Try to acquire limitless knowledge, and so that limitless power, limitless knowledge, limitless this. It cannot be. Nothing can make me limitless, everything is limited. When you recognize that all these notions, what I'm thinking about myself is notion, is not a reality about me. Fortunately, that I am limitless, helpless, hapless creature is not a reality about me. The reality is something else, that I am not helpless, not hapless. I am free. And to discover this and to be to get an assurance, to get a certainty about this, we need to go to a teacher, because there is no way that I can discover it by myself. I already have concluded as to who I am, therefore I need to go to a teacher who can show me differently. I have concluded I am limited because I take this body to be myself or the mind to be myself, and all my conclusions are drawn from these notions or from this from basic error. Therefore, I need to create a distance with myself, to recognize that the conclusions I have, or notions that I am entertaining about myself right now, are wrong, In order for me to understand that, I need to create a distance with my conclusions. I need to create distance with my ego. If I am the one investigating, the ego cannot investigate what its true nature is. We need to investigate what's the nature of ego. For that I should create distance with the ego. How do you do that? How do you create distance with yourself? How do you create distance with your notions and conclusions and complexes? See, this is Vedanta says, therefore, go to a teacher. What will teacher do? Go to a teacher means surrender to the teacher, meaning identify with the teacher. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Go to a teacher, a wise person, serve him, earn his confidence. And when you find he is pleased with you, then ask him questions. He will definitely teach you. Tad viddhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanate jnanam jnanina tattvadarshinaha. That's what the Bhagavad Gītā says. So going to the Guru, and what's the relationship with the Guru that the Shishya has? One of Shraddha and Bhakti. That there is Shraddha or implicit trust in the Guru. Bhakti, devotion for the Guru. What is meant by trust in the Guru? Swami, this is how we are all exploited, in this culture. Bhakti, Shraddha, trusting, people have been. What we mean by Shraddha here? And Vedanta, understand this very well. The Shraddha we already have. We know what Shraddha is. For example, right now these words are uttered by me and they are heard by you. Your organ of hearing reveals these words to you, right? And you receive them without questioning. Is Swami speaking in English? Or is speaking in Sanskrit? Or some other language? Does the mind ask that question? We, without questioning, accept in all faith what my ears reveal in terms of these words, sounds and words. Is it not so? Do you see Swamiji? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Because I trust my eyes that they reveal that the Swami is wearing orange, robes and whatever. So I trust. So you know what is trust? We already know what trust is, the kind of relationship that we have with our organs of perception, with the eyes. Implicit trust that what the eyes reveal is true. Unless, of course, there is some defect in the eyes and there is reason for me to question, then I may get it corrected. But we trust our ears that what they reveal is true. Our eyes, our organs of perception, these are the means of knowledge that we have, and we implicitly trust. This is called Shraddha. You know what is Shraddha? This is Shraddha. This relationship that we have with our organs of perception is called Shraddha. Vedanta says that this organ of perception is pramanam. Pramanam is a valid means of knowledge. Prama means valid knowledge. Pramakaranam, pramanam. The valid means of knowledge is called pramanam. Thus your organ of hearing is a pramanam for these words. Your eyes are a pramanam for revealing the colors. Similarly, Upanishades pramanam for revealing the nature of the self. This word, pramanam, have you heard this word before? Well, in case you have not, then pramanam, this is a very commonly used word in Vedanta, pramanam. Pramana means of valid knowledge, it's called pramanam. And we know what pramanam is. Our eyes are a pramanam for knowing the colors and forms, and we trust our eyes. So also the Upanishad, Vedanta Nama, Upanishad is pramanam for revealing the true nature of the self. Why do we need Upanishad to reveal the nature of self? How come I am myself, I would not know it myself? Because I already have wrong conclusions. And so Vedanta helps me to understand how my conclusions about myself are wrong. I take myself a mortal being, whereas Atma is immortal. Why do I take myself a mortal being? I said I was born. Why do I think I was born? What was born? Something was born. What was born? The body. When I was born means what? I take the body to be I. Is it not so? I am a mortal being. Yes, body is mortal. What do I say? I am a mortal being. I am limited. My mind is limited. So what is happening in our life is that all the characteristics of dharma, the attributes that belong to this body are all taken to be mine. And that's why my conclusion that I am a limited being. It's a wrong conclusion. So we need somebody to draw our attention as to why we think like this. Why do I think I was born when Atma is immortal? Hey, the body was born. Since you take the body to be yourself, therefore you think you were born. I need somebody to explain to me why I think the way I do think, And what is the error involved in my thinking? I have various complexes about myself. And there is a reason why these complexes are there, is because I identify with this body-mind complex. And this poor thing is limited. Body is limited, mind is limited, intellect is limited. I identify with them and take their limitations as my limitations. Why? That's how it is. Because I'm born with a habit of identification. I'm born habit of identifying the limitations with other superimposing limitations of this body-mind complex upon myself. And therefore my conclusion is that I am a limited being. And this conclusion is the source of all sorrow. But the world has an uncanny knack of pushing the buttons and making me aware I am limited. The moment I feel limited, I feel helpless, I feel unhappy. And therefore the Vedanta addresses this basic problem of life. Sorrow or unhappiness, sadness is a basic human problem. And that is a result of taking myself to be a limited being. So Vedanta teaches that your conclusion that you're limited is not the reality about you. And tells us, Swami, why do I think that I'm limited? Because you identify with the body, so limitation of the body becomes yours. Thus we are made to see where our thinking comes from, where our conclusions come from, and what is error involved. How to create the distance. I started with this, going to the Guru. Now, in the Vedic tradition, Guru is a very special place. It is not to perpetuate Gurudom or create some kind of a, superstition, etc. But in this particular case, Guru has an important place. Because I want to know who I am, and therefore I need to create a distance with myself. For knowing anything, I must create a distance. To know what this flower is, I must objectify the flower. And so also to know who I am, I should objectify myself in a way. How do I do that? By identifying with the Guru. Then I look at myself from the eyes of the Guru. You follow? Guru is accepted as the one who knows the true nature of the self. He knows what the scriptures are revealing. And therefore, identifying with the Guru and looking at myself or the ego from the eyes of the Guru. So that's how we create distance with our own self, by identifying. And therefore a certain relationship with the Guru. Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Yoga, Davehi. Upanishad says Shraddha, the trust. Bhakti, the devotion. Dhyanam, the concentration. So therefore it is necessary to cultivate these state of mind, these qualities, before we start, or as requirement for studying Vedanta. Everybody has all these things in some measure or the other. So everybody is qualified in that sense. But understand that even as we study Vedanta, we should also be always doing what is necessary to cultivate these virtues, All of us possess this virtue. We have viveka, vairagya in one measure or the other. And that becomes the basis of starting the study of Vedanta. But then as we understand Vedanta more and more, we should also be pursuing how to grow in my viveka, vairagya, samadhi, shatka, sampatti. So Upanishad says, tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva vigachet. For knowing the self, he should necessarily go to a guru. And I said, the reason is, I have a special relationship with Guru of Shraddha and Bhakti. That Guru inspires that confidence in me. Inspires, and that is why they say, spend some time with the Guru. Bhagavad Gītā says, approach a wise person and spend some time, serve him, come to know him, and thus in course of time you will discover in you a sense of devotion, trust. If that happens, then the teaching will help you, otherwise it won't. And that is why the importance of going to the teacher, Viveka Chudamani says, go and serve the teacher, win over his heart, make him pleased with you. Sounds like Gurudam again. Prasannam tamanuprapya pruche jnatavyam. Once you find the Guru is pleased with you, then you ask the question. Then he is disposed to answer your question. For For asking question and for getting answer also, you need a certain atmosphere, It's not you're asking a question to a professor and getting an answer. Because this is a different kind of a subject matter, and therefore you discover a reverence for the Guru, bhakti for the Guru. When that relationship is established, then what the Guru communicates to you becomes effective. As I said, we all have those qualities, one measure or the other. But still, we have to cultivate them. And growing up in this 21st century in the West, they ask you to question everything. When you go to management school, when your professor says something, question it. Ask question is a different, question it. Do not accept what they say just like that. Meaning that they actually question, they say, don't have that Shraddha, don't surrender to him. Maintain your individuality, ask questions, question him. This is the modern education system. Ancient education system, surrender to the Guru. Asking, not question him, asking question, but not question him. Have Shraddha that he knows what he's talking about. That's called Shraddha. Shraddha means the trust. He knows what he's talking about. When you go to in your college, in university, you go to professor, do you believe that? I mean, he knows what he's talking about? Or I think I need to verify what he said in Google and here and there and so on. If that is the attitude of the mind, then you can never be in harmony with the teacher. Your mind keeps on questioning, what is it true? Let me see. Let me verify. So, Shastrasya, Guru Vakyasya, Satya Buddhyavadharana. That what the teacher says, what the scriptures say is true. What the Upanishad says, you are Brahman, is true. I don't believe Swami. I can't be Brahman. I know who I am. I don't believe. If you don't believe, then it doesn't work. Even though Upanishad says something quite contrary to what I believe about myself, I still trust them. I question my conclusion rather than questioning what the Upanishad says. Upanishad says, hey, you are whole, you are complete. I don't believe. I don't feel so. I don't think so. If that is how you start, then there is, you can never discover what the Upanishad says. Therefore, I accept. Even though I don't feel I am complete. Still Upanishad says, I am whole and complete. I accept that. Then I will proceed to discover what is the reason why Upanishad says, what is the perception, what is the standpoint Upanishad has. What is the standpoint I have by which I have these conclusions, and what is Upanishad seeing in me? Identifying with the Upanishad, called Pramanam, identifying with the teacher, then I can become objective with my own conclusions. So, this is the last step. Renunciation of all my questioning mind. Surrender to the teacher. I don't mean surrender as like a servant, There is no helplessness in surrender. This surrender. There is willingness in this surrender. Because I find that here is someone who is worthwhile, surrendering. I mean, sometimes you feel some people are such that they just inspire confidence in you. They just, inspire respect in you. By their very presence. Similarly also inspires. So you willingly submit yourself, and thus you then have a state of mind which is conducive for learning. Learning Vedanta. Swami, our professor, never asked us to surrender. We went to physics classes and mathematics and this classes. This question, Shraddha. What Shraddha? What bhakti? This was never required when we went to university, when we went to school. That is true. You know the reason why? Because I have a clean slate, an open mind as far as physics is concerned, mathematics is concerned, as far as objective science are concerned. I have no axe to grind. I have no conclusions. I have an open mind. And I can verify what the teacher says because it's an objective thing. In case I cannot verify, there were laboratories where they create this situation where we can verify what is said in the class. What's the laboratory here? Your own mind is a laboratory. Therefore, this is the knowledge of an entity altogether different from the entities that we are accustomed to know or inquire. And therefore, the Shraddha and Bhakti is therefore a certain... I don't mean surrender means you are a slave. Surrender doesn't mean that you swallow what you are told. Surrender doesn't mean that I don't ask questions. No. In fact, Vedanta always encourages asking questions. You find that most of the texts of Vedanta are in the form of dialogue between the teacher and the student. And Bhagavad Gītā is the most famous example. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvada, a dialogue between the teacher and the disciple. But disciple has freedom to ask questions, even to raise a doubt. At one point Arjuna raised a doubt. The Lord, on one hand you say that knowledge is the means of moksha, on the other hand you are asking me to do karma. Why? On one hand you say that knowledge, self-knowledge means to moksha. And me, you say you perform karma, means I am not worthy of moksha or what? You follow Arjuna's question? In the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gītā, this is how Arjuna raises this doubt. Lord, you said that knowledge is the means of moksha. But to me you say, Tasmat, you just ask me to perform karma, ask me to perform duty. Why? Am I not a mumuksh? You don't think I'm worth this knowledge? He was a little agitated, Arjuna. Lord Krishna says, no, that's not the case. But then for gaining this knowledge, you need some preparation of the mind. And karma is a means of that preparation. That is why we are asking you to perform your duty. So that you gain that maturity in order to grasp what Vedanta teaches. So here a student does ask questions and also expresses doubts. He doesn't question what the teacher says. You follow? But certainly he seeks to know, understand what the teacher says. Here is a very unique relationship between a guru and shishya. Not quite the relation that you have with your teachers and professors. It's supposed to be that there also. In ancient, the tradition of learning, this is how every disciple, whether it is material science or spiritual science. These days, in the management school, they teach you don't accept what the professor says. Question him. I don't know whether in your school they say that or not, but certainly in the management school, you question him. We don't think that that is a proper disposition of mind for learning. Anyway, therefore, Tadvidni, so tadvidnyana, so guru meva vigachet, go to teacher. And what do you do, Swami? Atma vare drashtavya, shrotavya, mantavya, nididhyasavya, Maitreyi. So Yajnavalkya says to Maitreyi, who is his wife and now disciple. Hey Maitreyi, Atma vayara drashtavya. The Atma must be known as an immediate reality. Why? Because knowing Atma, you know everything. By knowing Atma, you know everything, you gain everything, you become everything. Believe that. I want to become everything. If you look at the pursuit, I want to know everything. I want to acquire everything. I want to become everything. That is the thing in my mind. All these desires are satisfied by knowing the Atma. You know the Atma, you know everything. Know everything, you achieved everything. Achieved everything, become everything. Become everything, you are complete. Therefore, this is a different kind of knowledge, therefore needs a different kind of an attitude and very special relationship with the teacher. And that happens in course of time. You don't fall in love immediately. You may fall in love immediately also with the teacher. But it's a process. You discover, as you know the person and you discover more and more about the person and the virtues and as you know, then slowly admiration arises in your mind and So it's a process today. But that process, if you're lucky, it will happen. And then Shravanam, then you have the right attitude when you're listening to teacher. So first step is Shravanam, meaning listening to the teacher. As you know, listening is not just listening. The student doesn't say anything. But he or she is very active. Because the mind is active. And the mind is seeking to understand and analyze and understand what the teacher is saying. Therefore the listener also is very active. Actively seeking to understand the tatparya or the meaning or purport of what the teacher says. Shravanam means listening, but it's a technical term. It's not simply listening like listening to music or something like that. Listening means analyzing. So when you listen to teacher of Vedanta, you analyze. Because Vedanta teaches us, what my conclusions are and how they are wrong, and therefore I should also, along with the teacher, I should also deliberate upon my notions and recognize them as notions and drop them. Therefore this becomes a process of shedding ignorance or letting go of my conclusions. See, we are a self-conscious being, human beings. So we are conscious of ourselves. This is a big problem. The problem we have is we are conscious of ourselves. In the deep sleep state, you are not conscious of yourself, no problem. When you are fast asleep, you are free and happy. You know that? Because you are not aware of yourself. You wake up and become aware of yourself, all problems begin, all complexes begin. But then sleeping is not a solution. Even if you are liberated in sleeping, how do you know? I want to be liberated and I want to be aware of it, naturally. Therefore, the student also is actively participating while listening to the teacher in analyzing the statements of the teacher or analyzing statements of Vedanta. There's only one statement in Vedanta really. What's the statement? Tattvamasi. That thou art. Or Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Just this is called Vedanta. Vedanta Upanishad may be a very large number, but they only simply tell us one thing: you are Brahman, you are whole, you are limitless. Or what is this Brahman? The simple thing they tell us. So such a take Swami, you've been studying since the last 35 years, Yeah, there's one sentence we are studying. When he joined the course, in Sandipani Sadhanalaya, I must have told you earlier, Puja Swamiji said on the third day, I am telling you today, you are Brahman, you are limitless. After 2.5 years, I will tell you the same thing. Nothing different. That's all they have to tell us. This way, that way, various ways, only one thing is revealed, that you are free, you are limitless. And this is being told in various ways because different minds will relate to different things, that is why. Sometimes it clicks, they're called clicks. So one thing may click to this person and to other person, and different things may click, or to me also different things will click different times. And therefore, from the day one, only one thing is told, you are limitless. Until the course goes on, and the whole life goes on, it is the discovery of this statement, making it real for yourself. And it requires a process, not only an intellectual process, it is also, as I said, an emotional maturity. It's not intellectual knowledge only. Emotional maturity makes intellectual knowledge a reality for you. Otherwise, just intellectual, there is expression, intellectual knowledge. But therefore, the importance of the emotional maturity. What is intellect slowly percolates and becomes a reality to you. And therefore, that emotional growth is extremely important. Therefore, satkarma, good karma, be a contributor, be kind, be compassionate, be a giver. Very important. Because that removes many cobwebs, many obstacles from my mind. Therefore we do both of them. We study Vedanta also and simultaneously have these attitudes in our life, in our actions, interactions. In the olden days, they say when you have become qualified, then only you go to teacher. But today it is not so, fortunately. And you don't have to go to teacher, teachers come to you anyway. So that's another thing. Our Swami used to joke. In the olden days, the shishya used to go to and beg bhiksha and feed the teacher. That was the idea. Shishya goes to community, bhavati bhikshande, he collects food, feeds the teacher and then eats. So today teacher goes out and feeds the disciples. But anyway, whatever it is, but we are happy, we are lucky that we have this setup. This and similar setups are there, which provide the opportunity to study. In a certain environment. You can study at home, Zoom, this, that, whatnot. But it is good, but it's not adequate. Nothing can replace the in-person communication. Because it's not just communication words that you hear. There is a live person, live energy is there, and then so many others are also there. There is a whole environment which also has an impact upon me. And therefore, don't be said, I have listened to all this text Swamiji from YouTube and this. You do that. But that's not enough. There should be in-person, communication also. Because it's not just the word, but something else also comes to you. Because teacher has affection for you, love for you, concern for you. So that concern, that also gets conveyed. It's not just the words coming from a tape recorder or whatever the recorder is. So listening or shravanam, which is where the student actively participates. And analysis takes place in your mind. Oh, what is Tattvamasi? What does it mean? What is Tat? What is Tvam? What is Asi? What is the... That's what the teacher unfolds. And in the mind of the student also, the same process of deliberation goes on. So in a way, the listener also is actively participating in analyzing in his or her mind. That is called Shravanam. And then when you, in your own time, you also subject what you heard in the class and get clarification in your own mind, discussion with other people, etc. Mananam. To get clarity. So Shravanam and Mananam together give us the clarity of knowledge. Nididhyasanam gives us the abidance in knowledge. So this is the process. Also involves renunciation of ignorance. Now what are you renouncing? Ignorance in what form? Ignorance in the form of various notions and misconceptions about your own self. And misconception of myself also creates misconception of you, the world and God. So thus there is ignorance of the self and universe and God. All of these are slowly removed, because these are the three entities about which the inquiry takes place or the deliberation takes place in the Upanishad. Jiva, Jagat and Ishvara. Jiva the individual, Jagat the universe, Ishvara the creator. And Vedanta reveals that these three entities, which look quite different from each other, are in fact nothing but one alone appearing as Jiva. Same one alone appears as Jagat, same one alone appears as Ishvara. How is that so? That's what is explained. Meaning that what I am is what you are. There cannot be a more noble teaching than this really. Because to me, I am the most important entity in the world. In fact, I am more important to me than even God, to be very frank with you. And I look upon you as a self, means you become as revered, as important as I am to me. And everything becomes, same, as valuable, as important, as revered as I am. Can you imagine if that is the relationship of non-duality? Then there is no conflict. This is the answer to all the conflicts of any kind. And then there are no Hindu and Muslim. All these are just nothing but they are all upadhis. One self alone manifesting to everyone. That's what Vedanta teaches. If this is so, there is no room for... In fact, Upanishad says, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says, Brahmavatam paradat yaha atmananyatra brahma veda, meaning that if Brahmana rejects me, Brahmana XYZ, there you, I become rejected by you. When I look upon you as different from me. I don't reject you, Swami, but you do. In a way. When I look upon you as different from me, which means I don't include you. You follow? Me is this. You are out there, meaning that you are not included here. I exclude you, isn't it? When I exclude you, Upanishad says that you also exclude me. I don't, but it happens. You don't have to make an effort. Automatically, the relation between us is all excluding each other. How can there be love? So this duality, this is where all the conflicts are created, because you are different and I am different. This is my boundary. You don't have an entry here. You're not included beyond this point. This inclusion is not a physical thing. Inclusion is in terms of understanding. So Upanishad says, if I look upon you as different from me, automatically, that means I exclude you, I become excluded by you. Let's go to rejection. I reject you, you reject me. So we relate to each other with mutual rejection. Can you understand that? When we look upon each other as different from the self, automatically there is mutual rejection involved. How can there be harmony? So this knowledge is the solution, fundamental solution to all the problems arising from excluding each other, looking at each other. And when I'm different from you, then I'm special. Then you are not special. I treat myself in some special way, and you in a different way. Then I don't have as much respect for you as I have for myself. So understand this duality, or division it is called. Mutual exclusion is the basis of all the conflicts. The solution is only in the discovery of oneness. What should you do, Swamiji? This knowledge is very difficult. Knowledge may be difficult. But then there are values based on this knowledge. If oneness or non-duality is the reality, then you are what I am. Even though it's not a reality right now, I don't see you as I, but that is what it is. Then the first value is that I should try to treat you as I treat myself. If in reality you are what I am, even though right now it is not reality for me, but to make it real someday, I start by treating you as I treat myself. It's tough, but I attempt. Meaning that I ask myself a question. If I were in your place, what would I expect? How would I expect to be treated? If I was in your place, how would I expect to be treated? Swami, I would like to be loved. I like to be, I like you to be kind to me. Is it not so? And that's what I should try to do. That love and kindness becomes a basis. That is, we try. Don't justify hatred, don't justify cruelty. So, this basic reality of oneness revealed by Vedanta is very beautiful and important, that can become the basis of our interaction with each other. Even though right now that oneness is not a reality for me, but at least I try to conduct myself in keeping with that as much as I can. It is, I don't justify the division. It is there, built into me, so I will behave in a way that you are different. It will happen. But at least I don't justify in my mind. All values are based on non-duality, by the way. Ahimsa is the first value, non-violence, is based on non-duality. The idea, non-violence, ideally I am non-violent to whom? I never violate one entity. Who is that? I never hurt one entity. Never hate one entity. Who is that entity? Myself. And that is called non-violence, that you don't hurt anybody, you don't hate anybody. And that's based on non-duality. Truth, all values are based on non-duality. You follow? Whether it is non-violence, it is truthfulness, whatever values are told. All values are ultimately based on non-duality, that you are not different from me. Then alone I can be ideally non-violent to you. Then only I can be comfortable with you. To the extent that that value comes to me, to that extent it happens. Meaning that all the values that we are taught, they are all based on non-duality. So even if you practice the value, you are practicing non-duality. And that value will become absolute when that non-duality is discovered. Your non-violent ahimsa will become absolute when I see you as myself. Until then it's the value which we should strive to practice. So whether the other people understand or not, they teach the same values. Without realizing, or they do maybe, that each of these values is based on non-duality. Ideally, I can speak truth to one whom I trust totally, and I trust that is where if I look upon you as myself, then only I can trust you totally, then I can be honest, I can be truthful. Meaning that even the values have the potential of helping us recognize the non-duality. Therefore Lord Krishna teaches them in the 13th chapter of the Gita, elsewhere also. Amaritvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa, kshantihi, ajavam. In this verses 7 to 11 in the 13th chapter of the Gita, these values are taught by Lord Krishna and elsewhere also. The 12th chapter from verse 8 to 20. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna. 16th chapter. Whenever he gets a chance, he does that. I shouldn't say he. Whenever Lord Krishna gets a chance, he would do that. So at least we can commit ourselves to that, to the values. And that creates therefore the background for this knowledge, because values are based on non-duality. And more I practice, more my mind becomes prepared for this knowledge. So even practicing value requires renunciation of duality, renunciation of division. Renunciation of separateness. You are different, I am different. This is my circle, that's your circle. That's what the world does. But that only creates conflict. So with these words we'll conclude our discussion on renunciation. Starting with renunciation of inactivity, culminating to renunciation of all duality or ignorance. All right. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.
Namaste. On behalf of our camp Swamiji, Darshavidya Next Gen, and all of the patrons, wanted to express my gratitude to Swamiji. Over these last few days, we've gotten Swamiji's clarity on Tyāga. The presentation was so systematic. Renunciation of inactivity, renunciation of desire, renunciation of ignorance, and so many subdivisions in there, Swamiji. And so we have a lot to go home with. But as Swamiji said, it's different being live and being with the teachings. So we also get to see Swamiji as a mirror for ourselves, and also to see the compassion and big-heartedness that Swamiji has. May we have some percentage of that, Swamiji. That's our prayer. And so the gratitude for the way you open yourself to us and be a source of inspiration. So I also wanted to say thank you to the patrons who continue to support the Gurukulam so that we can benefit from this place being here the way it is. And our gratitude towards our next gen for, right, I was saying earlier, Dharma rakshati rakshitaha. We are protecting Dharma by learning Dharma. And so with that, we will invite Swamiji to the chair here so that we can offer just a small token of gratitude to Swamiji. What Swamiji gives is limitless, what we give is very limited, but we give what we can. Thank you, Swamiji. If we can ask the next gen go first, if that's okay. Or if people are in a rush, you can go ahead. Okay. So you guys can also line up behind.